So I'm calling your church to test to see if they are willing to help feed a starving baby.
By now, I'm sure you've seen this content creator, or at least heard of her work. Her name is Nikalie, and she is calling on religious institutions, asking them if they will provide formula for her baby who hasn't eaten in 2 days. She is shining a spotlight on the dark underbelly that is religious institutions, the people that are supposed to be the most giving, the most loving. And so far, it's about a 10% success rate on those who will provide formula for her baby. And even the ones who will, it's usually out of that own person's pocket because the program doesn't exist at a church. There is no way for a church who takes in money to give things back out to the community. It simply doesn't exist. And my question is, are we surprised? Now, I love this experiment, don't get me wrong, but are we surprised? Because I've seen pastors and preachers talk about their Bentley. I've seen people being shamed for giving $1,200 and not giving $2,000. I've seen Joel Osteen not open his church when hurricanes swept through Texas. I see this day in and day out where it's a message of love and patience and kindness and treat your neighbors well and take care of each other. But when push comes to shove and the rubber meets the road, there is no action from the churches. In a time where food stamps are being cut off, benefits are being suspended, our churches are the ones that should be stepping up full force, not looking to the government because they're not willing to help. Our churches should be there to fill in that void, and they are unwilling. People listening to the sounds of a baby cry and are unmoved to the point where they deny somebody a $10, $20 can of formula. So I love the experiment, but are you surprised at the outcome?
2 predominantly Black or African American Baptist church and 1 mosque out of 25 to 30 churches in Kentucky. One creator on this app, I'm going to tag her below. 2 Baptist churches, predominantly African American or Black, and 1 mosque are the only churches who, when she called and said, I have a starving newborn baby, can you help me with formula? Those are the only 3 out of about 30 churches that helped. This creator is literally playing in the background of her phone calls, screaming baby sounds. It sounds like a newborn is crying because it's very, very hungry. And these people from the church, tax-free, mind you, commanded by their religion to help, mind you, the whole reason they're there, mind you, have pretty much all said no. Except for 2 Baptist church and 1 mosque. So if you look like me and every week you are giving your money to a church, they need to be audited by their congregation immediately. Ask them where the money's going.
Yes. I was want to see if you could help at all. I have a 2-month-old baby and I ran out of formula last night. So we've been on all day and all night without formula. I was want to see if y'all could help at all.
We have limited funds, and so we tend to help those that are part of the church or come to the church. We're going to be there Wednesday at 1 o'clock if you'd like to stop by, and I think at that point we might be able to help. So,
we don't have any programs for that. I would recommend contacting food pantry or a pregnancy resource center.
Okay, I don't know, so hold on just a sec.
Okay.
Call has been forwarded to voicemail.
Hold on. Unfortunately, our social services is closed today. They really don't do things for children, but so you should probably call Catholic Charities. They are open today, and they might be able to help you, but we don't have formula or anything like that.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
If you call some churches that are right in your area, or go to them, because we're not that kind of an office. We're like a business office. Okay. Well, unfortunately, that's our on our list. So.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you.
Yep. Have a good one.
All right. And we've been out since last night, so I've been trying to call everywhere all day and nobody can help.
Yeah, we're included in that, not because we want to be, but we've been struggling with a whole bunch of things since the Joe Biden.
So I'm calling your church to test to see if they would help feed a starving baby. And right now I'm about to call Germantown Baptist Church located in Memphis, Tennessee. And we are going to see if they would be willing to feed a starving baby.
Thank you for calling Germantown Baptist Church. Please listen carefully as our menu options have changed. Press 1 for our address. Press 2 for worship service information, or press 0 for the operator.
Germantown Baptist Church.
Hi, yeah, I was wanting to see if you all could help with a small can of baby formula.
If we can help with what, I'm sorry.
Like a small can of baby formula.
Let me get the pastor on call for you. Let me place you on a hold. One
Okay.
moment, please.
I had to call him back. They left me.
Thank you for calling Germantown Baptist Church. Please listen carefully as our menu options have changed.
Thank you, ma'am. I saw you hung up, and I was like, oh no, I'm going to have to call her back. But my system was jammed up, so I couldn't see who was actually on call. And I'm like, what is going on? And it's not working. And I usually print that out, and I didn't this time. But I'm just gonna walk back there and see. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. One moment.
Okay.
Hello.
Hi, yes. I was just wanting to see if y'all were able to help with baby formula at all.
We unfortunately are not. We have a benevolence program, but it is for our members.
It's just for the members, because like I have a 2-month-old and she hasn't ate like since last night, so she's gone all night and all day without any formula. Like I don't need money or anything, I just need like a small little can, and I've been calling everywhere and they're just telling me to call churches, and I just don't know what else to do.
Yeah, I mean we don't have any formula here to give out. We don't have any kind of food bank or anything like that.
Would it be something y'all could get and I could pick it up?
What's that?
Would it be something you all would be able to get and I can pick it up?
Well, like I said, if it's anything like that, our benevolence is for our members.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Y'all, there's this girl on TikTok who's literally exposing churches, and honestly, it's one of the smartest social experiments I've ever seen. So here's what she's doing. She's calling different churches pretending to be a woman with a starving baby, saying she needs help getting formula. There's no real baby, it's all a test, but the point is to see which churches would actually step up and help someone in need. You know, the kind of thing churches are supposed to do. Out of 35 churches she's called so far, only 8 said they could help. 8. The rest either said no or passed her off with excuses. She's even asking people to drop their own church names in the comments so she can call them next and see if they'll actually do what they preach about. Her name's Nikalie, I think that's how you say it, and honestly, I'm obsessed with what she's doing because this isn't just a prank, it's a reality check. If churches aren't helping their communities, feeding the hungry, or stepping up when someone's in need, then what are they really doing with all that tax-free money? And the wildest part? The responses she's gotten. Some of these people answer the phone like it's a customer service job, cold, dismissive, no compassion at all. Like, if someone called me saying their baby was starving, I'd be asking for their Cash App, their location, something. Nikki's videos are eye-opening, and honestly, she's doing the Lord's work more than half these churches are.
Take a walk with me through Germantown Baptist Church's Facebook comments. They are lighting them up. If you don't know why I'm doing this, look up a creator called Natalie. She is calling churches to see if they will buy formula for her baby that is crying. It's just a test to see if they have their benevolence right, you know? Germantown Baptist Church in Tennessee said that, no, we're not paying. Benevolence is for members only. Members only? Anyways, I wanted to see if they were getting the proper hate they should on all platforms. And here's their latest post on Facebook. The comments are amazing. They do not disappoint. One here says, how can you listen to a screaming baby in the background when saying she needs formula and turn them away? No advice or help at all. Then we have nothing like a church audit to know how they really treat the needy. Absolutely disgusting. This one says, can't imagine hearing starving 2-month-old baby cry in the background and respond with, our benevolence is for our members only. What a disgrace to Christ and God. How do you sleep at night? Dude, and that's just a little bit of it. People are lighting them up on their Facebook page. Like, it is absolutely insane. And they deserve every single bit of it. Because what do you mean? This woman, she called saying, just asking for formula, not asking for money or a handout or anything. She just wanted formula. And she had a video, like an audio of a baby crying in the background, called and was like, hey, I just need formula. And they're like, no, sorry, I know your baby's crying. You should probably figure that out. Our benevolence is for our members only. And I remember when I first started seeing her videos, I was like, every church is going to say yes. That's their thing. Like, that's what churches do. That's what Christians do, is help community, help babies, especially when they're hungry. What do you mean? You would be surprised about how many say no and that it's for members only. Are you kidding me? No. No. And you cannot say, oh, they're just a small church, like they don't have the money, they don't have the funds. She called one church that was significantly lesser in size than Germantown, and the pastor himself was like, we don't have that much, but I'll do it. That man was willing to pay it out of his own pocket to help a starving baby, much like all of us would. But the size of Germantown church, they were like, no, it's only for members. No. Are you kidding me? So you can't say that. You can't say it. It makes me sick.
Whoa, this is hilarious. If at all you've been thinking that these churches or the places we go to worship, and we believe that they uphold all the values of Christianity, and you think these people you give your tithe, your offertory will have your back when times of need hit you, please, you might need to think again, cause in today's story, a woman named Nikalie decided to conduct a social experiment. She pretended to be a mother with a starving newborn baby, calling food banks and churches across Tennessee to ask for help with baby formula. Well, this is how the experiment went. She explained that she had no food stamps left and was completely out of options. Her goal was to find out who would actually stand up for her as a mother in need. And well, out of over 30 churches, only 2 predominantly African American Baptist churches and 1 mosque offered to help. Out of 30, only 3 offered to help. So the other 27, I don't know, they must have told her, we shall get back to you. They must have made the line busy. They must have, everything is on a TikTok, by the way. Credit to her, because it's from a TikTok we got this story, and the rest, despite being tax-free institutions and commanded by their faith to serve the needy, they turned her away. Nikalie even played the sound of a crying newborn baby in the background during her calls, capturing the emotional weight of a baby in distress. Yet, most refused to help still. So if you're like me and every week you've been giving away money to these churches, ask yourself, when it truly matters, who's really showing up for you? Tell me what you think down in the comments.
Germantown Baptist Church, y'all are now in the hot seat. Have you guys seen the lady that is going around and calling churches and asking if they would be willing to help with a can of formula for her 2-month-old baby that hasn't eaten in almost a day? She called Germantown Baptist Church, which is in a suburb outside of Memphis, and that pastor flat out told her no. Actually told her that those funds are only for the members of the church. For those of you that are not familiar with Memphis or the Memphis area, let me paint the picture for you, okay? Germantown, Tennessee, specifically the 38139 zip code, is the wealthiest zip code in the Memphis area. I grew up in the town next to Germantown, and I currently live like a little under an hour away from there. This church is massive. Huge. It's nowhere near the size of Bellevue. If you're from Memphis, you know. If you're not, go look up Bellevue Baptist Church. That church is huge. This church sits on 64 acres of land, okay? And I pulled this. This is the demographics of the 38139 zip code. This is the median income of a household there, $174,000 a year. And the median home value is $540,600. And the funds are for the members of the church. Now, I understand some members live in other parts, but primarily the people that attend that church live in that zip code. There are thousands of members of that church. And if those thousands of members are tithing 10% of their annual income, that pocketbook for that funding pocket, it's deep. It's real deep. And the members of that church are not calling and asking for help with baby formula. They're not. They got it. I bet you a lot of their members did not know that this is how the pastor handles things. And I bet you those pews are going to look a little bit different on Sunday, as they should. That pastor is wrong, very wrong for that. Churches are supposed to help people, not just help their members. It's not a club. You don't join a church and get a membership and you can only walk through that door unless you're a member. It's not how church works. That it's just crazy to me that that man would even have the audacity to say something like that. Germantown Baptist, do better.
If you want to know how little a church you go to may care about you, there's a creator on here, and what she does is call random churches, and she plays a recording of a baby crying in the background. She then lets the church know that she ran out of baby formula the night before, and that she needs 1 can of baby formula to help to feed her baby. When I tell you, you might be surprised at the amount of church that turned this lady away and told her no. For her trying to get 1 can of baby formula that probably don't even cost more than $20. Out of all the videos that I saw, only a couple of churches actually tried to help her. Majority of the churches, the first thing they try to do is tell her where she can go and get it from somebody else. Y'all really got to remember, as sad as it is to say, most of these churches, they're a business first before they're a church. They don't necessarily care about their community. They want to take the money that they can get, and then they don't pay taxes on that money on top of it.
So I'm calling your church to test to see if they would help feed a starving baby. And right now, per request, I'm calling Living Faith Christian Center in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Let's call them and see if they would help feed a starving baby.
Living Faith Christian Center.
Hi, yes. I was wanting to see if y'all could help with baby formula at all. I have a 2-month-old and she ran out last night, so I just need like a small can because she's gone all day and all night.
What do I don't understand. You have need for what, ma'am, now?
I was wanting to see if you all could help with a small can of formula for a baby.
Small can of formula for a baby. Hold on, let me see. Sister Julia's available. Hold on a minute, okay?
Okay.
This is Julia. How can I help you?
Hi, I was wanting to see if y'all could help with a small can of baby formula. I have a 2-month-old and she's been out since last night, so she's gone all night and all day without anything to eat.
We don't have any formula around, darling. I'm sorry. None. No diapers, anything for babies. We don't have anything.
Could that be something you all could get and I could just pick it up?
No, we can't right now. I'm sorry.
Okay. All right. All right, thanks. Nope.
So what has the church we put our faith in really given us? That's the question TikToker Nikalie just forced millions to ask after her viral social experiment exposed a harsh truth. She called 26 churches, pretending to be a desperate mother out of baby formula, a baby crying in the background, and begged for help. Not money, not shelter, just milk for her child. What was she got instead? Excuses, hang-ups, and silence. Some said, "We don't do that here." Others just hung up. Out of 26 Christian churches, only 3 offered real help. But when she called a mosque, everything changed. Before she could even finish explaining, the man on the phone said, "Where are you? What kind of formula do you need? Come, we'll help you." No hesitation, no sermon, just compassion. Now, the internet's divided, but emotional. How can so many who preach love thy neighbor fail the simplest test of kindness? And why did the very community often misunderstood by many show the truest form of faith? Maybe Nikki didn't just expose hypocrisy. Maybe she revealed a crisis of conscience. Because faith without empathy isn't faith at all. It's a mask. And this time, that mask just slipped.
Have you guys seen the video of the lady that she's calling the churches and she's telling them that her baby hasn't ate since last night and that she ran out of formula and she has like a crying baby noise on the back, and none of the Christian churches gave her formula? Not one. No one said, come here, we'll go to the store, we'll get your baby some formula for the week. Not one. Not one. Jesus would never, okay? But a Baptist church and a mosque were the ones that were going to give her the formula. And I can bet you if she would have called the Satanic Temple, they would have given her formula. They've been giving out groceries right now to people in need. The Satanic Temple, they worship the devil. But you people, what would Jesus do? Are not giving nobody anything? People can't give this lady a little bit of formula for her baby that's crying? Jesus would never. Ya tú sabes.
When are you guys going to wake up and realize that a lot of the churches you're going to are pyramid schemes? They're money laundering. They're scammers. Your tithing is not going where it should be going. When are you going to wake up and realize that? I know y'all not going to like this one. There is a woman on this app that is doing essentially a social experiment where she's calling different churches in Kentucky of different denominations, saying that she has a hungry baby, playing even baby screaming sounds in the background, saying she has a hungry baby and needs formula, and sees what church is willing to help her. And she's done like almost 30 churches now. You want to know how many churches out of like those 30 churches that have actually been willing to help? 3. 3 churches. 3 churches. A Catholic church, a mosque, and a Baptist church. Always minorities. It's always going to be minorities. Never a white nationalist Christian church. Never will be one of those. But it's just very interesting how y'all are so surprised. This is one of the reasons why I have turned away from religion. Now, would I say I'm still faithful? Yes. Do I believe in God? Yes. But I don't believe in organized religion. I don't. And this is only one of the many reasons. And shout out to the Catholic Church, because I was raised Catholic. Shout out to the Catholic Church. Like, they called back and were trying to help her. So I got to put a shout out to Catholic Church. Even though I may not attend church, that really honestly made me proud. But when are y'all going to wake up? When are you going to wake up? That church is a political pawn now, too, as well. Your churches are becoming a political pawn. And most of these churches are out for your money. They're out for your money, not really to help the needy, not to clothe the poor, not to aid the sickly, not to feed the hungry. Like, wake up, people. This is the times we're in.
I am calling your church to test to see if they are willing to help feed a hungry baby. So far, I've already called 2 churches. Neither one of them were willing to help feed a baby. And honestly, I'm not even a church. And if somebody called me needing to feed a baby, I wouldn't just hang up the phone. I would find them a resource and get them formula for their baby.
Mom who called her local churches asking for baby formula because she didn't have enough for the week. It's both shocking people and not shocking anyone, because she found out that you can look at a church and tell who would be willing to give her free, just a small thing of baby formula is all she asked for. She's not asking for money. She's not asking for anything else, just baby formula. She has a baby crying in the background. It's basically a social experiment. We have seen mega churches hanging up on her. They basically can't get her off the phone fast enough. And some of them will send her to a voicemail and then never call her back. So mega churches absolutely will not help you. As soon as they figure out you're a person in need, they have nothing to do with you. Every other Christian church, I think except for a Linden, Kentucky or Tennessee, I can't remember. The person who answered that phone, it was a man, and he was like, I'm going to go get you formula right now. All the other ones. Oh, a Buddhist temple. One of the churches she called who was willing to help was Buddhist temple. All of these other churches, God is not in those facilities. Kind of like white Christian. Did I not say that part? Yeah, the churches that she called that were willing to give, that were Christian faith-based churches, those were all African American churches willing to help her. I don't know if the one in Linden, I'm not sure about that one. And especially a bigger, like prosperous church, they absolutely will not help you the second that they find out that you are not an active member of their church. What is an active member? A member who has given money to that church. And you can literally listen to some of these churches telling her no, and they are saying, I'm sorry, we do actually have a program, so they have like the funds and the means. They're not saying that they don't, but we just can't give to you because you're not an active member of our church. Not because you're not a member of our church, an active member. So just keep that in mind. Unless you're giving money to these churches, they don't want to have anything to do with you. Even a mother with baby crying who hasn't been fed, because that's what she's like, my baby has misfeedings. I am
in panic mode. I've called everybody. They don't even offer her other resources to call. The churches, the Buddhist temple was literally, this one was like, hey, I'm going to go get your baby formula, but here's a list of other resources to call as well if it happens again. The churches who were willing to help get her formula were not only willing to help, but they were also helping her find other people willing to help her too. So it's just crazy that there's people who not only aren't willing to help, they just don't care to even like get them to other resources, but the people who are willing to help are even going above and beyond. That is God.
Which denomination is the right denomination, is the one true church? None of them. Jesus did not establish any denominations. The one true church is the one you read about in the New Testament that Jesus established, which started in Acts chapter 2 and followed the apostles' doctrine in Acts 2:42. There is no group today that can claim absolute truth. Now, you can serve God in denominations if you keep your focus on Jesus and you don't turn into something God never intended for you to be. You don't turn into a judgmental hypocrite. Then, there are plenty of people in denominations who are serving God faithfully, I am convinced. But denominations themselves are divisive, and again, they don't come from the Bible. They come from man-made teachings. There has to be man-made teachings in order for there to be a denomination, because just reading the New Testament and just going by the New Testament will not make you anything but a Christian. There has to be something added in order for denominations to exist. So, reading the Bible will make you nothing but a Christian, and you don't have to have anything to do with denominations. You don't have to pay any attention to them. You don't have to go to them. You can have church anywhere you want to, and have church is not even the right way to say that. You can assemble with other believers and meet together for fellowship and edification and worship. And you can do that anywhere, because that's the freedom that we have in Jesus. So the one true church is the one Jesus established. It's the body of Christ worldwide, to which everyone who is saved is added by the Lord. Acts 2:47. That's the one true church.
This woman is going viral for calling up churches saying that my baby is starving, I've run out of formula, can you help me? All the churches say no, except so far 2 black churches and 1 mosque. And I don't want to sell this, but this feels to me like our selling of indulgences moment, where in the late medieval period, the church was selling indulgences. The bishops were living very lavishly. They were building these really, grand cathedrals, and the poor were starving. And it was very much part of the Reformation and kind of the decline of the power of the church, because they were dressed in gold and people are starving. To the point where if you were just an average person, if you supported the church, it became embarrassing. You support that? That's so embarrassing for you. I'm embarrassed for you. So now we're in a situation where people are being affected by the government shutdown, and here's the chance for the churches. This is the deal that we made you, that you don't have to pay taxes, and in return, you're doing soup kitchens, you're doing, homeless stuff, you're doing addiction recovery, you're doing, you are providing service to the community. That's the deal that we made. And it's very clear, and love her videos going viral here, that it's very clear that you have not held up your end of the deal. So there is something here. I'm feeling a vibe here. It's like the combination of the Wall Street Journal article that shows that the Mormon Church has billions of dollars. It's an investment wing. Not a single dollar of it goes to humanitarian aid. Not a single dollar of it goes to taxes. And then, people calling churches and they just saying, we can't help you. That's not what we do. And then you combine that with kind of a blue wave. We're starting to see some fractures with this power dynamic of church and state and Christian nationalism. And historically, why this is exciting for me, I got super excited when I kind of saw her going viral, is historically when trust breaks, the public demands either reform or kind of punishment. It's essentially her calling churches saying, you claim moral authority, prove it, and then kind of hanging up on her. This happened even in Spain in the 20th century, where the church was hoarding. They had collected all of the land, and they were hoarding the land and a significant amount of wealth. And they got enough public support that the state was able to basically force sell-offs of the church and basically say, no, this land belongs to the public now. We may be a long way from true reform. In France, for example, they actually removed the tax-exempt status from Jehovah's Witnesses and also retroactively taxed them, which was really interesting. We may be a long way from that because when religion combines with politics, that marriage, it's just so powerful that it takes a long time in order to break that marriage up. But we're seeing some cracks, and I think it's positive.
Yes, hi. I am a single male and I am needing some food assistance. I was wondering if y'all had a food bank and if I needed to be a member of y'all's church to get help.
No, we do not have a food bank.
Okay.
Have you tried the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank?
I haven't. Do you have a number for them?
Not offhand.
Okay. Do you have other churches or any groups that are doing anything right now during these hard times for the citizens of Baton Rouge?
We partner with the Christian Outreach Center,
Uh-huh.
and I know that they do a food distribution one day a week. I can give you their number.
Yeah, please do.
Okay, that would be 225
Yes, ma'am.
377 8582.
Okay, perfect. Do you know if y'all are going to have anything during these hard times, especially coming up on Thanksgiving anytime soon or anything? Are y'all doing anything for that?
No, we don't have any food drives or meal
Okay.
way to do that here at this location.
Okay, perfect. Well, thank you so much for that information. I do appreciate it.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
You're welcome.
Y'all know $100,000 is nothing but $10 to Tyler Perry. All right? Let me say that again, baby. See, that's why I am no longer a part of the church. Because literally, they are playing in your face. It's been damn near 20 years since I paid a tithe and an offering. Let me tell you why. I remember when I was going through a little slow season as an entrepreneur in my business. Now, I've always paid tithes. I've been the part of 2 churches, all right? And when you are a part of a church, when you give your membership, you give your commitment to giving your tithes and your offerings and anything the pastor asks you. So all my motherfucking life, bitch, I've been paying tithes and offerings. But I got kind of slow one season of my life, and I needed about $356 to pay a light bill. And the church said to me, well, Sister Nikki, we need you to write a letter on why you got behind. And as I was writing that letter, I was in my 20s and I had a little baby. And as I was writing that letter, the Spirit said to me, as I was writing that letter, it was the divine saying to me, as I was writing that letter, I realized that had I withheld the bill money that I needed, let's be clear, and paid the motherfucking bill, let's be very clear, I wouldn't even need to ask nobody in the building for the motherfucking money. Let me tell you what I'm trying to tell you. Critical thinking skills will show you every motherfucking time. If you need money and you barely making it, you are giving to a man and his business, huh? While taking away from you paying for your bills and handling your business. Follow me, okay?
There's a woman here on this app who is calling up churches and other faith-based organizations and seeing if they will give formula or diapers or other things to her imaginary baby. And then she'll have like a baby crying in the background sound effect to make it seem more realistic. Now, I'm a single parent with sole custody and sole placement of my child. And when my daughter was actually a baby, I had to, at certain times, go to churches, go to kingdom halls, go to faith-based organizations, go to nonprofits, go to places that I would hope, at least try to get formula, get diapers, get any type of resources that I need if I would run out. And I just want to give y'all some insight and some input versus what she's doing and what actually worked in my situation. What she's doing is calling the phone numbers for the churches and explaining her situation and asking them, hey, can I get a can of formula? I'm all out. What I would do in my situation is I would actually take my daughter and I would go to the faith-based organization. So I would go to the Kingdom Hall. I would go to the church. I would go to the nonprofit. I would go to the Department of Public Social Services. I would go to the place that has these different services. And if it's, let's say, a church, I would meet the people who are there, introduce myself, explain my situation, let them get to know me, let them get to see my baby, and explain my level of need. Some churches wouldn't be able to help me. Jehovah's Witness Kingdom Hall might not be able to help me. And I would try to kind of pressure them to help me. I would use the fact that if they're Christian, I would say, hey, I prayed about it and I think God really put it on my heart that you guys can help me. If it was a Kingdom Hall, I would say, I prayed to Jehovah God and I really think Jehovah God wants you to help me. And in one instance, when I told that to some people at the Kingdom Hall, they actually went back and had some elders pray about it and came back like, yeah, we thought about it. God, came with us for answer. We're going to help you. So I didn't just call because that wouldn't work. Like if you want WIC, Women, Infants, Children, the program that will help you get formula, they will help you get fruit cups, they will help you get little stuff to survive when your baby's really young and up until I think like 3 years old or 5 years old or something. If you want that program, you can't just call them and be like, hey, can I get some WIC? You have to go down there and you have to apply. If you want food stamps, SNAPs, you have to go down there and you have to apply. And I feel like it's the same with a faith-based organization, a charitable group, a nonprofit, Catholic charity, St. Vincent de Paul, all these different places. You have to go down there and apply yourself. They don't have a formal application, but you have to apply yourself to the situation. When you just call, who's even picking up that phone? Like, you don't even know. That could just be some random church member. And everyone in that church is not at the same level of giving, of their relationship with whatever creator that they believe in. And here's like an interesting actual anecdote to kind of illustrate what I'm saying. Desert Rain is a church in Downey, California. When I was homeless with my daughter in Downey, California, staying at the Chateau Inn and Suites through a LASA funded motel voucher, I often ran out of resources. I was working at Koreatown Youth and Community Center, which is in Koreatown. I was living in Downey. If you know anything about the buses and trains in Los Angeles, that's a crazy commute to make. I had to leave at 4, sometimes 5 o'clock in the morning. When I didn't have a bus fare, one day I had to push my daughter in the stroller and that took 6.5 hours. It was over 14 miles. And a lot of those parts you have to cross, there's no sidewalk or way for a pedestrian to cross. So I would have to just run across when traffic would lull with the stroller. There was no other way to get past. This place is not set up for pedestrians. So when I was at Desert Rain, the reason why there was resources wasn't because God was dropping down manna. It wasn't because the church leaders were like, we need to have these resources. It was a unique story. There was a daughter of some church people, some, God believers. And the story that they explained is they were driving through downtown one day and they drove past Skid Row. And this girl, who was an adult by the time I met these church members, was a child at the time. And she looked out of the car window and she saw a homeless person. And when her family asked her, what did she want for her birthday? I think she was 8 years old or something at the time. She decided what she wanted, not a gift for herself. She wanted them to give a gift to help that homeless person that she saw. And she continued in this mentality to the point that every year for her birthday, items were donated, and it went from a family thing to an entire church thing to a community thing. There were all types of items donated. There was an entire thing where they went down to Skid Row and volunteered their time. And there was a mentality in this church from that one person that spread. It went across class lines. There are some, when you're middle class and upper class, there are some people who do look down upon the poor and the homeless. There are some stereotypes of different things. But this kid, who was an adult by the time I got there, that mentality infected the church in a positive way. Not infected as like a disease or something. Infected like when laughter can be infectious. And so by the time I got there, there was a mentality within this church that, hey, this person's homeless. We want to help this person. Now, I will say, there was some disturbing stereotypes about the homeless still existing at that church. I served in the National Youth Forum on Homelessness. I was elected and served 2 years before I came to Los Angeles. And 40% of youth homelessness is caused because LGBTQ youth are kicked out of their homes just for their identity. They tell their parent, or their parent finds out about their identity because they're a Christian or a Muslim or whatever they are. They kick that kid out onto the streets and feel like, I don't want you under my roof. And so because of that, it was a very painful speech that I had to hear in this church, where a man gave a sermon about how he was saying, like, I am such a good Christian that I had to be homeless because I refused to live under my mother's roof because my mom was dating another woman after my parents' divorce. And I was like, what? So your intolerance for your mother made you choose to be homeless? You weren't pushed out? Like, you had a choice? That's not really comparable to what's really fueling youth homelessness, where young people are being kicked out because of intolerance. You were intolerant, and your intolerance made you choose to be homeless. And when he chose to be homeless, his experience being homelessness was going and living in his car. And I really felt like that's not a good sermon. That was painful to hear. That was shocking to hear. And I didn't want to be receiving services from an environment like that after hearing that. And that's not a reflection of everyone there, but it's just when you learn certain things about faith-based orgs and the history of these organizations, like as you look into the history of, say, the Catholic Church, if you're getting services from Catholic charities, and then you look into the history of the Catholic Church, you might say, hey, I don't want to throw out the baby with the bathwater, but maybe I do. Maybe it's the legacy is going to be so negative, I'll just walk away from this and figure out a different route. And that happened to me over and over again with different faith-based organizations. But the point that I want to make is this. It's a long-winded rant, but if you stuck around to hear this, the point is this. If you want services and you have a baby, you are not probably going to get very far just by calling places, and then they'll say, hey, come on down and grab this formula. Hey, come on down and grab these diapers. If that was the case, so-and-so would tell their cousin, who would tell their uncle, who would tell their, and everybody would be lined up around the block and the services would be gone like that. That's just not how it works. There's a process in place. Sometimes ain't nobody gonna help anyways. It's just the mentality. But even when the help is there, you have to assert yourself into that situation and be strategic to get those services. I understand that what she's doing is just trying to make the churches look bad and create content and be sensational. She's not actually trying to give advice and help people in that situation. But I've been in that situation. I survived that situation. I'm in a similar situation right now. It's not as bad as it was then because now my kid is older, but I'm struggling right now with housing and food insecurity and all types of different things. So I just want to let you guys know, if you're in that situation or if you end up being in that situation, people will help, churches and faith-based organizations included, but you'll have to go out and secure that help. You'll have to convince them that there is an interest, that it serves them to help you. That's just the reality.
So there's this lady on TikTok that is doing a social experiment with calling churches and seeing if they would donate baby formula. Like not give her money, just see if they could get a small can of baby formula. And every single video that I have seen of hers that popped up on my For You page, every church tells her, oh, it's only, we do things for our members only. We're not able to do that. But I thought churches were supposed to be for the community, but it really looks like that it's not for the community. Like, she's not asking for money, and yeah, she doesn't really need it, but it's for a social experiment. But irregardless, like, y'all can't help. Y'all get donations all the time. I know.
Have y'all seen the girl who's calling people's churches to see if they would help a woman who has a starving baby?
I was wanting to see if you all could help at all. I have a 2-month-old baby and I ran out of formula last night.
She does not really have a baby. The scenario is made up, but she is calling churches to see if they would help with formula for a baby. You know, what churches are like supposed to do. Please go and watch every single one of these videos all the way through to the end so this girl gets paid, because it is the most incredible social experiment I have ever seen. Out of the 35 churches that she has called, only 8 of them have said that they could help her. She's asking people to comment on their churches, comment in, and then she will call them and see if they will help. And this is the most important, like this is literally the Lord's work. And Nikalie, I don't know if I'm saying your name right, but I'm obsessed with you. This is such a genius way to prove this point. Churches should be paying taxes if they are no benefit to the community. If someone who is starving cannot call a church and get help, if you work the front desk of a church and you're answering the phone and a girl calls in with a starving, I mean, what I wouldn't give if you called my phone.
Mom who called her local churches asking for baby formula because she didn't have enough for the week. It's both shocking people and not shocking anyone, because she found out that you can look at a church and tell who would be willing to give her free, just a small thing of baby formula is all she asked for. She's not asking for money. She's not asking for anything else, just baby formula. She has a baby crying in the background. It's basically a social experiment. We have seen mega churches hanging up on her. They basically can't get her off the phone fast enough, and some of them will send her to a voicemail and then never call her back. So mega churches absolutely will not help you. As soon as they figure out you're a person in need, they have nothing to do with you. Every other Christian church, I think except for a Linden, Kentucky or Tennessee, I can't remember. The person who answered that phone, it was a man, and he was like, I'm going to go get you formula right now. All the other ones. Oh, a Buddhist temple. One of the churches she called who was willing to help was a Buddhist temple. All of these other churches, God is not in.
Are y'all on the side of TikTok where the woman is calling churches saying that she needs a can of formula for her baby and they keep telling her that it's for members only? She is doing the Lord's work. So this is Nikalie. She's the one who has been calling all churches by request, and she calls them and she's like, hey, is there any way I can get help with a can of formula? My baby has not eaten since last night. She's hungry and I'm wondering if you guys can help me out. The majority of the responses from these churches specifically told her that you had to be a member to honestly receive help or any other type of food assistance. I'm sorry. A church is supposed to be a hospital where you take care of people and you help people, not like a business. It should not be ran like a business. If you're not on that side of TikTok, let me show you one of her videos.
Hello.
Hi, yes. I was just wanting to see if y'all were able to help with baby formula at all.
We unfortunately are not. We have a benevolence program, but it is for our members.
It's just for the members, because like I have a 2-month-old and she hasn't ate like since last night, so she's gone all night and all day without any formula. Like I don't need money or anything, I just need like a small little can, and I've been calling everywhere and they're just telling me call churches, and I just don't know what else to do.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have any formula here to give out. We don't have any kind of food bank or anything like that.
Would it be something you all could get and I could pick it up?
What's that?
Would it be something you all would be able to get and I can pick it up?
Well, like I said, if it's anything like that, our benevolence is for our members.
Okay.
Although this is like a social experiment, it's kind of crazy how she's called all of these churches, or the majority of these churches, and they all literally said the same thing. Like you just had to be a member in order to receive help. But I don't remember them saying that in the Bible. I don't remember that. But hey, there's no love like Christian hate, right?
That lady has called 36 churches to tell them that she has a hungry baby and that she needs help. Out of 36 churches that she has called, how many do you think has said, yes, we can help you, we will find a way to help you? Go ahead, guess a number in 3, 2, 1. 9 of those 36 places said that, yes, we will find a way to help you and your baby. So to those 9 places that said, yes, we will help you and your starving baby. But 27 said, no, we can't help you, sorry. Try another place. One place said that they couldn't help because of the Joe Obama regime. So That was very telling. Another place asked, "Are you a member here?" And she goes, "No, I'm not a member there." And they go, "Well, we only have benevolence for our members." These places are getting constant donations, they're getting tax exemptions, but you're telling me that they can't feed one hungry baby? I thought churches were here to help people, and if they can't help one hungry baby, then I'm sorry, but they're useless. She even called a pro-life facility thing, and they told her, they're like, "Okay, yeah, we can help you, but if you want our help, you have to come down here and you have to take these classes in order to earn baby bucks, and then you can spend said baby bucks on baby things." Which I understand they want people to take these classes, but I don't feel like a parent or someone who's struggling should have to take classes in order to receive help for their child. Like, what if they're not able to take these classes? They just don't get help? I've said it once and I've said it again. Tax churches. These places need to be taxed. These are businesses. I do know that these churches are starting to catch wind of this, because I've seen people posting like screenshots of these churches posting on Facebook talking about, "We were scammed. This woman called and said that she needed help, but we knew that she was lying, so that's why we didn't help her. You guys know us. We would never turn away a hungry baby, but we knew that she was lying." Stop lying. Stop lying. These places are being exposed, and now they're trying to save face. I'm an atheist and I don't go to church, so honestly, these results are not that surprising to me. But if you're someone that does go to church and you think a majority of churches would help, go check out her videos, because you'll be shocked.
Okay, so I saw the lady on TikTok that was like calling churches to see if they would buy her a can of formula. And there's a couple things I want to say about that. I run a nonprofit, and one of the things that really shocked me is whenever I first started, the training that I received was when I was told that I can make a living at this, that it was very lucrative. And then the second thing was them teaching me how to manipulate people and how to pull on heartstrings to get people to donate to my nonprofit. And I did not feel comfortable with either of those things. I don't make any money from the nonprofit that I run. Um, but yeah, there's definitely some I I think it's a good thing that this is being brought to the light. There is more that churches can do when it comes to reaching out to the community and meeting those needs. Um, it's sad that you can't go to your local church and ask for the things that you need. I've always said I would love to see churches on Sunday, all of them, to fast and use all of that money to go to the needs in the community. Like, that would be my dream. Anyways, as a Christian, I am so sorry that the churches are not always open to everybody. It makes me sad.
There's a girl on here who is going around and calling churches. She's calling these churches to see if they will feed her starving baby. She's basically asking for a small can of formula because her baby hadn't eaten within like the past day and a half almost. She is up to 39 churches, I believe it is. So it'll be 30 churches that have said no, they will not help feed a starving baby. 9 said yes. Now, when she makes these phone calls, she has a recording of a crying baby in the background. And it sounds like a hungry, unhappy baby. And the churches can hear that. And they are basically just, no, it's not something we can do, not something we offer. A church who teaches that Jesus literally fed what? A village of people. I can't even remember exactly, so do not quote me. But out of this little thing, like, and you can't even offer a starving baby a can of formula, a little can of formula, yet you have no problem taking all these donations. You basically make your money off handouts from people's pockets. People that could possibly be in their lowest financial point of their life, but you still expect that basket to be filled with them, and you can't even repay by offering a simple small can of formula to feed a baby.
This woman is going viral for calling up churches saying that my baby is starving. I've run out of formula. Can you help me? All the churches say no, except so far 2 black churches and 1 mosque. And I don't want to sell this, but this feels to me like our selling of indulgences moment, where, like, in the late medieval period, the church was selling indulgences. The bishops were living very lavishly. They were building these really, grand cathedrals, and the poor were starving.
And it was very much part of the Reformation and kind of the decline of the power of the church because they were dressed in gold and people are starving. To the point where if you were just an average person, if you supported the church, it became like embarrassing. Like, you support that? Like, that's so embarrassing for you. Like, I'm embarrassed for you. So now we're in a situation where people are being affected by the government shutdown, and here's the chance for the churches. This is the deal that we made you, that you don't have to pay taxes, and in return, you're doing soup kitchens, you're doing, homeless stuff, you're doing addiction recovery, you're doing, you are providing service to the community. That's the deal that we made. And it's very clear, and love her videos going viral here, that it's very clear that you have not held up your end of the deal. So there is something here. I'm feeling a vibe here. It's like the combination of like the Wall Street Journal article that shows that the Mormon Church has billions of dollars. It's an investment wing. Not a single dollar of it goes to humanitarian aid. Not a single dollar of it goes to taxes. And then, people calling churches and they just saying, like, we can't help you. That's not what we do. And then you combine that with kind of a blue wave. We're starting to see some fractures with this power dynamic of church and state and Christian nationalism. And historically, why this is exciting for me, I got super excited when I kind of saw her going viral, is historically when trust breaks, the public demands either reform or kind of punishment. It's essentially her calling churches saying, you claim moral authority, prove it, and then kind of hanging up on her. This happened even in Spain in the 20th century, where the church was hoarding. They had collected all of the land and they were hoarding the land and a significant amount of wealth. They got enough public support that the state was able to basically force sell-offs of the church and basically say, no, this land belongs to the public now. We may be a long way from true reform. In France, for example, they actually removed the tax-exempt status from Jehovah's Witnesses and also like retroactively taxed them, which was really interesting. We may be a long way from that because when religion combines with politics, that marriage, it's just so powerful that it takes a long time in order to break that marriage up. But we're seeing some cracks, and I think it's positive.
Can of milk. That's all she was asking for, was one can of milk. You know what that lady told her? She couldn't help her, and straight up just was done. Like, just nothing she can do. Didn't even try to help. Just hung the phone up. You know what I'm saying? But people donate money to these churches. Are y'all really there for the people? Where is the money really going? One can of milk. What if that really was a person that needed to really feed their baby? And I would have paid out of my pockets. I know you can't help the world, and I know you do not.
I'm sure by now a lot of you have seen the woman that is calling church asking for help to feed her baby. It is heartbreaking. As somebody that knows God and that God has put people in my life just to show me that I am not alone, I 100% know how angels unaware are. And if you've never heard that phrase, that is where God can use somebody else as a test to see if you're living life right for Him or not. Not only that, He will send people that nobody else sees to help you along your way, and they look and talk just like us. Short story, but there was one night that I was fixing to have open heart surgery, and I was a kid, and I was scared to death. And we went out to eat with our family, and there was like 14 of us, and we had a waitress named Angela. She talked to all of us. She was such a sweetheart. She had white hair, and she came up to me once, and it was right before we leave, and I was shy. I was, teen. She patted me on the shoulder and she leans down and tells me, I just want you to know, God told me to tell you that you are going to be okay and that He has you. When I tell you, I walked outside and I lost it. I have this relationship with God. I can feel it in my bones, and I could feel that that was a message from Him. But I didn't know how to understand it, and I didn't go back in because I was like, how does she know? So on our way back to the hotel room, I decided, you know what? I'm going to call Ryan's back because that's where we was eating at, and I'm going to talk to Angela. Yeah, there was no Angela that worked there. And I was like, yes, there was. Like, we tipped her, we talked to her this entire time. There was no Angela even on the payroll. First, middle, last name, there was none. This has happened a couple of times. But I'm telling you right now that if anybody called me and told me that their baby was hungry, there is no way that I would be letting that moment slip away. There is no way that I would have to be like, I have to ask the church first. Because the way that I see it, that's not just a test of the church. That's a test of everybody that's on the other end of that phone.
Have y'all seen the girl who's calling people's churches to see if they would help a woman who has a starving baby? She does not really have a baby. The scenario is made up, but she is calling churches to see if they would help with formula for a baby. You know, what churches are like supposed to do. Please go and watch every single one of these videos all the way through to the end so this girl gets paid, because it is the most incredible social experiment I have ever seen. Out of the 35 churches that she has called, only 8 of them have said that they could help her. She's asking people to comment on their churches, comment in, and then she will call them and see if they will help. And this is the most important, like, this is literally the Lord's work. And Nikalie, I don't know if I'm saying your name right, but I'm obsessed with you. This is such a genius way to prove this point. Churches should be paying taxes if they are no benefit to the community. If someone who is starving cannot call a church and get help, if you work the front desk of a church and you're answering the phone and a girl calls in with a starving, I mean, what I wouldn't give if you called my phone. I'd be like, where are you? Can I Venmo you? How do I get this to you in 5 seconds? Their responses are mind-boggling.
So, in regards to the lady that is calling churches asking for them to get her baby formula for her starving baby, and they're telling her no, it reminded me so much of this story that I've read by my favorite author. And I just wanted to share a little bit of it right now. A lawyer stood up saying, "Teacher, what shall I do to inherit eternal life?" He said to him, "What is written in the law? You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your strength and with all your mind, and your neighbor as yourself." What? Crazy. But he, desiring to justify himself, said to Jesus, "And who is my neighbor?" And Jesus replied, "A man was going down from Jerusalem to Jericho, and he fell among robbers who stripped him and beat him and departed, leaving him half dead. Now, by chance, a priest was going down that road, and when he saw him, he passed by on the other side." That's insane. So likewise, a Levite, when he came to the place, saw him, passed by on the other side. But a Samaritan, as he journeyed, came to where he was, and when he saw him, he had compassion. He went to him and bound up his wounds, pouring on oil and wine. Then he set him on his own animal and brought him to an inn and took care of him. And the next day he took out 2 denarii and gave them to the innkeeper, saying, "Take care of him, and whatever more you spend, I will repay you and when I come back." Which of these 3 do you think proved to be a neighbor to the man who fell among the robbers? He said, "The one who showed him mercy." And Jesus said to him, "You go and do likewise." Guys, this is a beautiful book. It's called the Bible. Y'all should read it.
So I talked to Nikalie, the girl that is doing the social experiment on calling churches to see if they will get her a baby formula that is starving. And I would like to also start calling churches, and I checked with her and she said that yes, the more the merrier. But I don't want to say the same thing that she's saying, because I don't want churches to start catching on too much. So I thought I could get some suggestions from you guys. What do you think would be a good thing that I could say to the church that's not necessarily like a normal thing that they would have there? You know what I mean? It doesn't have to do with like a baby necessarily. I thought about a few different things. I thought about maybe toilet paper to see what they would say, but I decided against that. So I would love some ideas from you guys. And also, if there are any churches that you would like me to call, please leave them in the comments and I will make a list of the churches that I'm going to call. So thank you for your help with this. I'm really interested to see how this goes. So hit that follow button and come on this journey with me and let's see what they say.
Ain't churches supposed to feed the hungry and clothe the naked, and possibly give shelter to the homeless. I just watched this sick ass video of this woman that made a phone call to Germantown Baptist Church here in Memphis, Tennessee, and she had the sound of a baby crying in the background. And she got on the phone and talked to the pastor and told them, "My baby is hungry. My baby is 2 months old, and she has not had anything to eat since yesterday." And you can just hear the baby screaming and crying in the background as the pastor tells her, "We have a benevolence program, but it's only for our members. We don't have any food or anything like that here for the church beyond that for our members." And so she's like, "Well, I'm just wondering, well, can you guys like help me get a small can of formula and I can come pick it up because my baby is screaming because she's starving and I don't have the means to get her the food." And so he repeats it. "Yeah, I apologize. When it comes to things like that, that's really something that we only have in the benevolence program. That's only for members." You know, all my time spent in church, we were drilled about the things that Jesus said. They were drilled into us. I'm more than certain that feeding the hungry and giving shelter to the homeless and giving the clothes off your back to people who are naked and helping to heal the sick, all of that is in there. So how the fuck y'all won't help a 2-month-old baby because her mama's not a member of your church? What the fuck is going on? Y'all nasty. Ooh, and I mean real nasty. So now you better believe that church is probably doing damage control because she recorded that interaction and posted it on social media for the world to see. And you better believe if that church is doing damage control, any churches that have a similar program or the same are doing damage control as well. So call the other churches and see now if they'll feed your babies or if they'll possibly be able to gather some clothes for you. See now, because now all of them are on high alert. The only reason you have to do damage control is because you caused damage. Understand that. Maybe if you're a church, you should do what churches are supposed to do according to the word of God. The one that y'all wave around all the time, the one that you like to condemn people for. You are now being condemned for not following your own word. The word of God.
Thank you for watching Great Minds Blacks.